Howdy, good evening, hello, how are we all? Ah, dear. So we've got about kittens, yeah. So, sadly, Uni, we're not talking about we're not talking about kittens tonight. Not tonight, anyway. How are you doing, anyway? Good evening, everyone. How are you all? How Conan, Keepy, Charvel shit the bed here. He was in first before it even started. Well done, Charvel. Mightily impressed. Obviously, Magic's with us, looking delightful, sat over there. And Monkey, how are you, dude? Original's here. Uni's with us, and Ice Wizards, Calvian, everybody else is going to join us, I'm sure, over the next couple of hours as I jibber jabber a little bit about a variety of subjects. One thing I've noticed with switching to a Thursday is a lot of shit happens just before I actually do the GeekCast. So I get it all planned, I had it all written by Tuesday, and then I was like, oh shit, that's happened. And I'm trying to put things, something we are going to roll over to next week because it just gets a little bit too complex. But why do people not just fucking release things on Monday and get it over with instead of waiting to midweek and shit like that? So anyway, not to worry, we've got things to talk about next week. Yeah, I hope you're all well. I hope you're all looking to. So, by the way, it feels hot in here. Don't worry, it's just my burning forehead. Oof. Have you got a little bit singed today, Charvel? Yeah, it's a bit singed. Nettlebrews in the house as well. Just seen him sneaking in on the viewer list. I'll let you keep up with this. But yeah, just a little. See, I would, if I didn't wear a cap nearly every day, you can see, I mean, I ain't got a lot of hair on the old noggin. I would be a little bit on the old frazzled side, so I've got to be careful. Although I do tend to get it very burnt at the back of my neck as well, and my arms. Can you see the side that gets the sunshine? Can you see the side? Oh dear. So anyway, we're going to dive in with some subjects. Not as many as last week. However, we may chat as long. Who knows? We shall see. Interact as much as you want as always. Put your tuppence in for your point of view. Not your tuppence, obviously. But if you have an opinion about something, more than welcome to lob it into chat, and we'll discuss as always. Because viewpoints are good, opinions are good. I like arseholes. Everybody has one. So sometimes you don't. But anyway, let's move over to Doink. Get us over there. There we go. We got a little chat down below. Hello, people down there. Hello. So right, without further ado, let's bring up what we've got on this week's an episode 10. Can I say episode 10? I said earlier in the chat, where the fuck's that just appeared from? Episode 10. Now, to be fair, I haven't done one every week. I've had to skip a couple of weeks. I did it last week because of a certain game that launched as a little open beta, New World. We're not talking about New World this week, amazingly. We're not. I can tell that's not on the subject matter. What is on the subject list though is there's not much ahead of you now. Epic versus Apple, the US court decision. Yes, there has been eruptions over in the US for this. I'm sure you've been all aware of it, but we'll have a little discussion. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the remake. It's not a remaster. It is actually a remake. Monkey, thank you very much. Sorry, I don't have my notification things on, but I'll tell you what, I'm just going to give a confetti with a round of applause. Cheers, Monkey, thank you very much. And Keepy, thank you very much. Yours as well for earlier. Much appreciated, my friend. Thank you very much. Always appreciated. I don't need no singing. Yeah, we'll save that for another time. So yeah, Star Wars The Old Republic. Sorry, not the Old. Knights of the Old Republic. The Old Republic is the MMO. There. WhatsApp encryption. Ooh, yes. Name the, obviously, I'm sure you peeps know that. Name the game and name the movie. I think name the game is going to be difficult this week. I think name the movie might be a little bit easier. Ooh. Probably the biggie that we're going to talk about, because obviously the serious implications for me and my channel is the LOTRO Brawler and the LI Revamp. Which kind of I tried to avoid going on about, but when I went onto Bull Roarer last night, it kind of got, that kind of thing. EVGA explain of the bricked 3090s. etc., which is quite interesting. And Twitch sues the hate raiders. They seemingly have pinpointed a couple of people who may be the cause of the issues that we are seeing with the hate raids, etc. But we'll dive into that as we see. So first up, let's hit the next key. There we go. Epic versus Apple. This is the US decision. Now, just to reiterate, because I had forgotten when I first wrote this part, that Epic, you know, have sued Apple for a variety of reasons, saying they're monopolistic, that they're cut of the marketplace, the store, the iOS store is, you know, anti-consumerist, anti-developerist, everything really. They've just really gone after them. Now, there has been a kind of result of sorts with the US courts. However, they have still an ongoing case with the UK courts, which is to be heard soon, I believe. I'm not entirely sure on the date. I don't think it's been totally decided. And also, they've sued them in Australia as well. Now, you kind of pick your battles here. They've already been slapped down of Apple by the South Korean government, which I did talk about a few weeks ago. But if you're going to sue somebody, you pick your battles with kind of governments or legislation in a country that is kind of favourable to your viewpoint. So, you know, he's not Tim Sweeney, who's the head of Epic, is not going to go all out guns blazing after Apple in somewhere like Russia, because, you know, let's be fair, he's probably going to get nowhere. But he did it in the US, obviously, because it's the homeland of Epic and Apple. They've gone after in the UK. Again, a decision hasn't been made there. The court case has to be heard. And also down in Australia. However, the US court, and specifically Judge Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers, has actually issued a ruling on this case. And it's pretty much, obviously, it centers around Epic's claim that Apple's insistence that developers use Apple's in-app payment system on iOS is anti-competitive and takes advantage of a monopoly position. So everybody's been kind of watching this with bated breath. Like I said, the other few weeks ago, we had South Korea basically saying, no, you can't do that, cut that shit out, get on with it. And that kind of got Epic really riled up, because they thought this is how possibly it was going to lead to the rest of the court cases going. And I believe the South Korean one was just a governmental act. It wasn't on Epic's part or anything like that. But pretty much what she's decided is a kind of a win for Epic, and it's a kind of a win for Apple. It's an interesting one, how this has actually come out. But anyway, she agreed with Apple on most counts of the lawsuit, which was quite interesting. But the one big victory went to Epic, and it was that Apple, yeah, pretty much, Apple violated California's unfair competition law, and it has ordered Apple to change its iOS app policies within 90 days. Now, basically, what that actually means is that they have to implement a way that people can go to an alternative payment method. Now, for Epic, and we'll use theirs as the basis of the argument, they want to basically sidestep Apple's cut of the 30%. Because any sales that go through the iOS store, then that's either directly buying the app or buying any like in-game currency. So in this case, it's V-Bucks. V-Bucks are the currency, the in-game currency for Fortnite. Now, Apple will get a 30% cut of that. Now, if you're, like say, spending $10 in V-Bucks, Apple are getting $3 of that. And, you know, it's their bone of contention. But anyway, what Judge Gonzalez has said is that they need to allow another way to get to alternative payment methods. Now, how that actually is going to happen has not been decided. Speculation is that it may be a separate link that's going to go to a website. It may not even allow you a button on the app. And this is what's going to happen over the next few weeks. because don't expect Apple to be happy with this decision at all. I reckon that they're going to appeal against this part of the decision anyway, because they won quite a few other things. But this particularly, I think they're going to appeal, because at the end of the day, that's a lot of their revenue. You know, I mean, you don't get to be one of the biggest companies, if not the biggest company in the world, by, you know, not wringing every last dime and dollar out of everybody that uses your storefront. So how it's implemented is a bit unknown. It's just been basically put down in not in law, but a decision to say it needs to happen. Now, as I've said, Apple will probably fight tooth and nail not to make this easy. They could drag their heels implementing this actual decision, but they have said that it may actually go back to the court and actually be down to Judge Rogers again, this Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers, to actually decide how it should happen. Now, if she turns around and say, look, you have to allow a direct button on every app that takes them outside of your store, then that's going to happen. How you doing, Napa? Good evening. But nothing's been put in place as yet. What the Apple side of the argument, and this is what they were very happy about, was that they won the ruling that they are not monopolistic and that success is not illegal. They were her words in the ruling, because they're basically saying just because they've had a good idea and they've implemented it very well and become very rich from it, it's not monopolistic, and it being successful is not a bad thing. So yeah, it's not over with by any stretch. So pretty much it was a win for consumers in that way, that they can possibly have an access to a cheaper pay store, or paying method rather, which would be direct with the developers or direct with Epic, for example, who are the publishers, creators of Fortnite. And this is what it all stems to, really, is that Epic wants to have their cut. They don't want to be giving another company 30% of their revenue. Apple actually said afterwards, and this is kind of paraphrasing a bit of it, but they said, today the court has affirmed that we've known all along. The App Store is not in violation of antitrust law, as the court recognized success is not illegal. We remain committed to ensuring the app is a safe and trusted marketplace that supports a thriving developer community. Let's be fair, they're just trying to, make it out like they're the best thing since sliced bread for developers. They're not, but they are in a way to get the actual product out to potentially millions of people. They are a big company. They're a big storefront. We know that. But I always found it quite sickening when they turn around and say, oh, we're here for the developers. We're here for the people. We're here for, making sure you don't get fraudulent payments and stuff like that. Because as soon as one person gets frauded outside of the iOS app store, they're going to be saying, well, we told you so, this would happen, and this, that, and the other. But anyway, that needs to happen at some point. Now, Epic, unsurprisingly, we weren't very happy. And this was their company statement. Today's ruling isn't a win for developers or for consumers. Epic is fighting for fair competition among in-app payment methods and app stores for 1 billion consumers. Fortnite will return to the iOS App Store when and where Epic can offer in-app payment in fair competition with Apple in payment method, passing along the savings to customers. So they've basically said once they've had the decision of how that payment method could go in, they will put Fortnite back on, so that they can then allow their customers, their players of Fortnite, to bypass. Now, it still isn't on there. It hasn't been sorted out or anything yet. The case will rumble on. I know, Monkey, you just kind of alluded to that. But like I say, two mega rich corporations both looking to make all the money, and both with lawyers getting paid millions, and at the end of the day, us consumers are the real losers. Yeah. I mean, in this one, luckily, us as consumers are not funding that. But obviously, they're arguing over who gets the cut of what and that's what it boils down to. But yeah, luckily, in a sense, the consumers aren't paying for it directly, which can happen with, say, a government getting caught up in a legal wrangle or something like that, because private solicitors make the money, whereas it gets taken out of the public pot to fight that. So hopefully that's not going to affect customers too much. But yeah, further down the line, will it give a cheaper option? Hopefully. Now, one thing that has happened, and that is that Epic have actually been told they have to pay the money that they owe Apple. And that works out at approximately $6 million. Because obviously they wouldn't pay Apple because they said, you know, at the start, you know, we want to, because they bypassed it. They did actually bypass it by putting in a way to go, an alternative method, which went straight to Epic. And then obviously the court have decided, well, you can't do that. You can do in the future, but you can't do it then, and you've kind of broken your contract with Apple. So basically they've rewound to when it all started, and they've said from that point up until the point of judgment, you need to pay the money that you would have made. And I don't know how they've calculated this, but basically it works out, I think it was $4 million in, or just over $4 million in actual sales. So that's the 30%. Yeah. So that's 30% of what Epic would have done. So in those months. And then there was a load of fees on top, the $2 million in fees and all sorts and everything else. And it totaled to approximately $6 million. Now, that does make you wonder how much money Epic are making. I mean, they're not short of cash, don't get me wrong, to be able to just drop that straight away. With obviously Unreal Engine, all the licensing for that. The games are still on Android devices. It's still on PC. I don't even know if it's even on consoles. I don't even know if it's on consoles. Fortnite, I'm presuming it is. So they're going to be making money pretty much hand over fist in that one. Why Epic's doing Google Play Store? Well, funnily enough, there is a little follow-up to this, which I'll go to in a second. But yeah, when you look at the money that they've had to pay to Apple, and I don't know the time frame of this overall, but $6 million in total. You imagine that's just from one storefront that they have made in that space of time. So if that's, say, 4 million that they said that they owed, which was 30%, yeah, of 4 million, you know, you times that by 3, thereabouts, you know, that's what, $12 million in that time. And that's, you know, what Epic would have earned if they didn't have to pay the Apple Store. So $12 million, that's a phenomenal amount of money in a short space of time. Then you look at the Google Play Store. Then you look at the Epic Games Play Store as well, their store that you can buy V-Bucks, etc., etc. Now, funny you should mention that, because something did happen, I think it was yesterday or the day before. Now, going back to South Korea have actually had a pop at Google, and they fined them $170 million for their actions recently. And I can't remember the exact reason, but I know it came up on my news feed that I was reading that they'd actually sued them. It's on all three consoles, PS, Xbox and Switch. All right, okay, so you can imagine that what they're making from there. Now, it all depends on the cut that those storefronts take. If they're taking 30%, which Epic really do have an issue with, then they will probably go after the rest. But I think Epic have kind of previously sided a little bit with Google to go after Apple, because obviously Google have Android, Epic have Fortnite and other things on Android as well. But I believe their cut is significantly less, maybe 15%, etc. But they really went after Apple, and they wanted to kind of have a buddy that they took along for fighting causes kind of thing. So I think they've laid off them. However, the South Korean government have gone after Google, and they've fined them $170 million, which is no, you know, sniffable amount. But if you think what Epic earned in the space of a few months, say 6 months or more, that's a drop in the ocean. With everything else that Google have now, it is going to be a fair drop in the ocean, just specifically for everything that they can earn in revenue across not just Fortnite and everything else. So it's going to rumble on, definitely. I don't think we're going to see the end of this by any stretch. It's going to be a long time before this actually settles down, because obviously this is going to be the decision. Then they're going to probably have to go back to court, because Apple are not going to say, I'll tell you what, we'll just put in a button for you to use. They're going to make it as sly and difficult as possible and say, well, we've put it in, but how you utilize that, it's going to cost you or going to make you jump through hoops to actually get a payment method. Whereas it would be ideal in a non-vicious corporate world where you would have pay for your V-Bucks in the iOS store, pay for your V-Bucks at the Epic store, and then you'd be able to do it via the app directly. But they will have the option to pay via iOS, which you can do probably outside of the app. But if you want to go to pay directly to Epic at a cheaper rate, you're going to have to jump through hoops. It will probably just be a link to a URL that'll have to be redirected, and you'll have to sign into your account again. And you can see how they're going to make it tough. But hopefully, the Judge Rogers may jump in and say, look, stop being dicks about it, Apple. You've got your money. Let's just do this and don't be a twat about it. What the permutations are for the UK case and the Australian case, I don't know. I'm sure that whoever's the judges that are looking at this, and certainly also the solicitors, lawyers, etc., that are going to be defending and also, I would say defending and offending the accusers, in this case Apple and Epic, they'll be looking at what's happened in this case for certain, and seeing how they can swing it to a better favour, and get it maybe thrown out from Apple's point of view and just say, no, that's their storefront. If you want to be on it, tough. And that could actually happen in the UK and Australia, to be fair, because our current government do like big business. Hence why they don't pay enough tax, or hardly any corporate tax, because they want to have the big business. So if they're going to piss somebody off, they're going to piss off Epic rather than Apple. So we'll see. But yeah, it's going to rumble on. We're definitely not going to hear the last of that by any stretch. Not by a long chalk. But hopefully it turns out better for anybody who's a consumer, and in that case means that they're going to reduce the price. Apple could sidestep this and just say, look, well, they're going to knock it down to 20%. They do obviously offer incentives to developers who don't generate X millions of dollars, etc. They're a lot lower cost, but for the big boys, they take a big share, because they're thinking, you're a big fish, you're making loads of money, we'll have some of that, but we'll get the little guys in who are going to like the store, who are going to like our schemes, who are going to like our cut. But then once they become big, lo and behold, they're paying the high rates as well. But yeah, we'll see how that one rumbles on. If we stop hearing this by the end of next year, I'll be very surprised. But who knows? We'll see anyway. But moving on to next up is Star Wars. Oh yes, we always like a little bit of Star Wars. Knights of the Old Republic remake. Want to see a video? There we go.
Peace is a lie. That is what the Sith believe. They promise power. Now they wield it. We face the greatest Sith in generations. They must be stopped.
PlayStation.
Yes, there we go. Even. So, some of you will have played, obviously, the original version of Knights of the Old Republic. I think I did a very long time ago. I didn't really play much Star Wars on PC back in I can't remember when it came out. Was it about 2000? It was very early on. I think about 2004, 2005. I can't remember exactly when it was. Yeah, somebody'd have to look on that one. I can't remember exactly when the original did come out. Now, it was, as you can see, it says PlayStation 5, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But it is a remake, and you'll have noticed that as well. Now, normally the avant-garde thing is remaster. They're remastering everything, which is obviously you can think of Mass Effect 2003. Nice. So everything like Mass Effect, the remastered trilogy, etc. The remaking. What's the other thing that we're remaking that's going to remaster? I've forgotten the name of it now. I'll come back to that in a minute. But yeah, this one is Final Fantasy VII. That's possibly a remake. That I wouldn't mind. I don't mind it too much. Now, the difference between a remake and a remaster, and it's something that they've hinted towards, hence why they've called it the remake, is that it will be based around the same storyline. It'll be based around the same lore. However, they aren't going to make it as a direct remaster and just update the graphics. It seems like they're actually remaking the game. So it was originally made by BioWare. I don't even know if they still hold the rights to it. However, it's actually been made by a company called Aspire. You will have seen their logo at the start. They actually recently remastered another Star Wars game, which I think came out last year, and that was called Star Wars Republic Commandos. Again, it was one that I never played, but they did a seemingly a decent remake of that last year. Now, here's the interesting thing. It was revealed at the Sony showcase for the PlayStation last Thursday, not today. Obviously, it was last Thursday. And it's claimed that it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive at launch. Now, this is where people were getting confused because you're like, fucking hell, it's only going to be on PlayStation. What are they doing now? I hate fucking exclusives. However, Lucasfilm, who obviously owned the rights, then turned around and said it's coming to PC as well. And then it was later reported that it's going to be coming to both PC and the PS5 at the same time. Now, this is where the exclusivity thing got confused, because how Sony actually said it's a console PS5 exclusive at launch. So basically, the people that are going to shit out are the Xbox owners. So it was just that one word, the console exclusive. Everybody kind of misread it and they thought it was going to be a PS5 exclusive only, so you're only going to be able to play it on the PS5. But like I say, Lucasfilm have turned around and said it's definitely coming to PC, which always baffles me because near enough all console games are made on a PC with a dev kit. No Switch, I demand protest. Yeah, that could be an interesting year. MMOs are crap. Well, to be fair, Knights of the Old Republic, if I remember rightly, wasn't an MMO, it was an RPG. So I don't think it is in the same vein as, say, Star Wars The Old Republic, whereas Knights of the Old Republic was more as an RPG. I could be wrong. Again, I didn't really play it. I just know that it created a hell of a lot of hype within the Star Wars community and obviously within the PlayStation community as well. But yeah, so from Wikipedia, on the remake development, lead producer Ryan Treadwell wrote, "We're rebuilding it from the ground up with the latest tech to match the groundbreaking standard of innovation established by the original, all while staying true to its revered story." Yeah. So yeah, that's where that's why I said it's a remake rather than a remaster. So that's going to be, you know, interesting because obviously the tech, and this is probably something that will reflect in people's aspirations for a remake, remaster, upgrade of the graphical engine for LOTRO, for example, because rather than just take the existing story and then all of a sudden just wang a load of updated graphics to it, they've decided it's easier just to remake the whole bloody game. So you can see that that's going to have or kind of gives you an idea why we won't probably see a massive engine overhaul for LOTRO. But yeah, Star Wars: The Old Republic was set 2,000 years after Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah, was it Darth? And I'm trying to just bring this up. Is it Darth Revan, who's the main baddie that we saw there? Revan, yeah, okay, yeah. I see. Didn't play it, but it was in there somewhere. So yeah, Knights of the Old Republic is an RPG, single player originally. Don't know if there's going to be any multiplayer in this. I'd be very surprised if they do. So if you fight his apprentice Malak. Oh, okay. Okay. Did he take on the same guys then? Because that image that we saw with the specific face mask, I thought that was Darth Revan. I don't actually know how you say it. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it's that was okay. See, that's confusing, isn't it? You're not going to fight him, but he's already defeated. But you fight his apprentice Malak. I'm sure it'll come out in the wash. Who else fucking hell we're fighting at the end of it? But yeah. I'm sure there's a storyline there, but that's fine. But yeah, maybe, and this is because obviously we've got a lot of Xbox/PC tie-in. If they're bringing the game out to PC, I can't see why further down the line that they then don't turn around and say, do you know what, let's release it on Xbox. Now it says a console PS5 exclusive at launch. That can be open to interpretation. A year down the line, there you go, Xbox, you can play it now as well. And I'm sure it'll sell, because at the end of the day, if the hardware, whatever it is, PS5 or Xbox Series X, can actually handle the game, you would be mental not to develop it and sell it on there as well, even if it is further down the line. I mean, you've got to wonder how much these companies pay for exclusivity, because it must be millions upon millions of dollars, pounds, whatever, to actually have an exclusiveness, because you're pretty much knocking sales on one of your platforms. You maybe get the sales further down the line, but initially you're not going to get anything. So you've got to think, right, they're going to give me $10 million. Are we going to make 10 million if we sold it on that platform? And that's where you've got to balance it. You're going to get guaranteed cash, or you're going to get a potential to make more, or you could have the potential to make less. And I suppose that's where you really have to think, is it worth it? Am I going to balance the books? Is it going to work out in my favor or not? So, interesting. But reminds me, I'm rather surprised that Deathloop went PS5. It's devved by a Bethesda studio and they're owned by Microsoft at present. Yeah, but the other thing was when it started, the devs maybe were they actually owned by Microsoft when it started? Because that would cause a serious legal implication if they had an exclusive deal and contracts to that extent, to then turn around and say, nah, we're owned by Microsoft now, we're not making it for you. Because they'd be like, hang on, you're out of contract now, we're going to sue you for millions. So maybe they've just maybe the Sony got a whiff of it, that there was going to be some kind of takeover from Microsoft with Bethesda, and they thought, you know what, let's dive in there, offer them a load of money, get an exclusive deal, and get this game on there. I think it'll come eventually, obviously. You know, at the end of the day, it's going to be out on PC. Deathloop, actually, I'm not going to mention it. It isn't in the list, as you've seen. Apparently, that has actually hit high ratings. It's been very, very popular. So might be one to look out for if it ever does come to Xbox Game Pass, for example. Might be something to try. Or has anybody actually already got it? You refunded it, Nappa. You didn't like it. Wow. See, that's actually contrary to what I've heard. Oh, it ran like shit. Yes, I have heard that as well, that there's been a few issues. A monkey, I hated it. Wow. You know, all I've read is that, you know, reviewers and things on Steam have been fairly positive. And then straight away I say that, and then 2 people said, hated it, it ran like shit, didn't like it, you know. It's typical. I just you know, I'm not gonna say anything else, because I think it, you know, because all of a sudden it just might go, yeah, doesn't float my boat, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I haven't bought into it. I haven't dived in there, but yeah. You do look, I think you, yeah, I did like Dishonored. I haven't played the second one. I did like the original, though. I thought it was quite a good game. But yeah, I can see where it's, how it would possibly be similar. But yeah, I'd be interesting to see if it does pop up on Game Pass. But yeah, if it doesn't float your boat, like with every game, if you don't like it, people could absolutely, you know, sing its praises, but if you don't enjoy it, what's the point? There's no point whatsoever, is there? So but yeah, we do digress. Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, there's no set date for it. I believe obviously sometime next year, but hopefully it will be an absolute doozy. Will I play it? Probably, because I never played it the first time around, so maybe second time, updated graphics, etc. Might be quite. It's the anti-private thing there, running tanks, the frame. Oh, they're not using de novo, are they? Which is the anti-copy kind of thing. If it is, that always fucking tanks. Great story, but KOTOR 2 was back. Well, here we go. Is KOTOR 2 going to come out afterwards? They would be mad not to. If it sells well, and this will be the benchmark, just as we stay on Star Wars a little bit longer, if it tanks, then they won't bother. If it's a great success, I'll guarantee that Lucasfilm will be saying, here you go, boys and girls, you can have that license again, go make KOTOR 2. Because they know it's going to sell for them, they're going to get the license, boom, winner, winner. So hopefully it'll be good. Very short video that we saw. It doesn't really tell you much. So we're expected to be bits of both games in the remake. Oh, so they may be amalgamating the two. That's going to be interesting. The remake in Final Fantasy IX remakes of great games seems to be the rage because creators were... Sometimes you just think they're running out of ideas, and as a personal opinion, I always think it's because they look at things like Call of Duty, FIFA, Madden, NBA kind of stuff that they can churn out year after year, and it sells massively. And they're thinking, well, we don't need to tweak it much, just update the graphics as the engines improve, sell it for the same price every year. Bob's your uncle, making billions. Yeah, I mean, that's a commercial success, isn't it? In the sense, whether it's a actual success for the studio, that's a different matter. But as a commercial success, looking at big numbers, yeah, making millions upon millions of dollars for a big company, yeah. Exactly, Skyrim. Isn't it they said that there's something like 15 versions now of Skyrim across all the platforms? I mean, that's Bethesda though, isn't it? I mean, Microsoft are going to be saying, are you sure we can't we make a version for the Game Boy Advance or something? Just ridiculous amount, just a ridiculous amount. But never mind. Right, we're going to move on because we're... Yeah, stop remaking it when you stop buying it. Very true. I mean, I think he's quite an honest guy, actually. I really do. Obviously, he's got corporate overlords now, so it'll be interesting. Right. Anyway, let's switcheroo. We're going to play the video as we normally do.
Nobody likes being left out. That's why Special Effect are helping people with physical disabilities to play video games. But this isn't just about having fun. The gaming setups we create are personalized, so people can play to the very best of their abilities. And that opens the door to inclusion and independence, confidence and creativity. Help us level the playing field and create more magical gaming moments. Because it's everyone's turn to play.
There we go. I never have to say anything about that now. I say it every week. So you know where to go. You know what to do. Oof, right in the heart. And indeed, Monkey, and that's what it's there for. I can't play some of the other ones. There is another video that I did use specifically on my Twitch Sings. They are heart-wrenching. Sadly, I know at least one person that has passed away since then. Yeah, it's meant to get you in the heart. That's probably the lightest one of them all. The other reason is that there's copyright music on some of the other ones, which I can't use because otherwise it gets taken down straight away. Although I could use it, but you know, there's no. If I was ever going to do it on YouTube, I can't monetize or anything like that. So I've got to be very careful, and I also get copyright strikes, kind of thing. So, but yeah, specialeffect.org.uk. Click that link. Donate if you can, or some people can, like I do, link the charity onto Amazon, so that in most cases you can go to a link which uses what's called smile.amazon, and then whatever you buy through there will go to your selected charity, and in my case it's Special Effect. So do check it out if you've never seen it before, because there will be some that don't know about it, but they are trying to be more of a global charity now as well, so they do some wonderful work. Right, picking on to the next one. Let's hit the button. WhatsApp, the encryption particularly. Some of you might be thinking, okay, yeah, I use WhatsApp. I have done for years. It's owned by Facebook. What's your problem? I've just actually realised my little button's missing next to Star Wars. I've got my little white buttons missing. The little bullet point next to Star Wars. That's, you know, I've shocking. I know. I've just realised there. I thought, hang on. This magic store. Do you know? I'm just gonna. It's there. See, it's there, and then it goes like, oh, it's there, but boom! Somebody nicks it. That's me. My fault. I wonder if it's in all. I wonder if it's all the rest of them. It's when I've made it in Photoshop, I've accidentally hidden that layer. Amateur, fucking dickhead, absolute dickhead. Anyway, WhatsApp. Most of you know that it's a fairly personalized messaging service. It's owned by Facebook. You know, everybody's taking it now, aren't they? Please, thanks, guys. And you might be thinking, well, if it's Facebook, so why the hell would you even, you know, worry about privacy when you know what Facebook are like? Now, they use currently end-to-end encryption, so that if you send a message that it's encrypted, and only when it gets to its destination can it be decrypted, so nobody can intercept it in between and see. Now, the big caveat is that, you know, people want to back up their conversations. You know, the app tells you roughly every week to do an app update, a backup rather. And if you sometimes change phones, you need to do the backup beforehand. You know, I had to do that. Luckily, it transferred over on the iPhone. But the problem is, on iCloud and Google Drive, now iCloud is the kind of like Google Drive equivalent storage space. There's no encryption on your backups. So anybody can go into that and go, thank you very much. Obviously, if they can get into your iCloud, this is what I'm talking about. Same with Google Drive. If you back it up to there, oh, hello, thank you very much. Oh, what you got in there? Now, when you think about how sometimes big companies do get hacked, sometimes unscrupulous people do go into places they shouldn't do when working for these companies. You've got to wonder how much data, private data, has been looked at, and specifically with WhatsApp messages. Now, governments don't like WhatsApp. Security firms don't like WhatsApp, especially when they're supposed to be able to see what's going on with certain individuals. You know, and they used a national security line for quite a while. But what Mark Zuckerberg, obviously this is what I called him, Facebook Supremo, an all-round very rich weirdo. Mark Zuckerberg has said that the WhatsApp messaging app will allow end-to-end encryption on both iOS and Android. So approximately 2 billion people use WhatsApp, sending over 100 billion, this is quite a phenomenal amount, of encrypted messages a day. That's a day. Yet their backups on iCloud and Google Drive has always been unencrypted, so they've been, like I say, accessible by anyone. Now, two handling methods, basically how you can secure your backups, will be made available. Yet neither is foolproof, unfortunately. But okay. But they mean that neither Apple nor Google can see the contents of your backups. So, like I say, if somebody gets into your account, especially Google, for example, people will be trying to do that. Most of which is, yeah, boy, housing and crap. Yeah. Oh no, my nudes. Yeah, that kind of shit. Somebody's going to have their account hacked. If you get your Google account hacked because you don't have two-factor authentication on, then, you know, somebody's going to be into your Google Drive, checking it out, seeing what's in there. If they can see that you back up to your WhatsApp, they're going to be in there going, oh, hello, what we got here then? Oh, that's good. That's a little nosy. Same on iOS. iOS, I think, is a little bit more secure, but, you know, I'm not tempting fate here, but, you know, it's seemingly less hackable, but who knows. Now, the two ways that they're going to be able to do it, they're going to be able to encrypt things by a user-supplied password. Okay, so that's probably the least secure, but obviously probably the more workable for the billions of people that, you know, use WhatsApp. But then there is, and this is the funny one because nobody's going to fucking remember it, there's a 64-digit encryption key that you can use. So who's going to write that down? Right, I need to write this encryption key down. Yeah, all right, I'll be with you in a minute. Yeah, still writing it. Yeah, right. Is that an uppercase or low? Fuck, it's a lowercase. I've put that. Right, let me start again. Right, can you imagine trying to type in a 64-digit encryption key every time you wanted to back something up or to decrypt something? Now, most people can't remember their phone number, let alone a 64-digit encryption key. And password managers cheered. Yes. Now, the thing with the password managers, it may work there, but if you are somebody that uses WhatsApp but isn't as tech savvy to use a password manager, because people don't. I mean, you have to really look outside the box when it comes to the average user. Now, I'm not maligning Magic's mum. She uses WhatsApp a lot, does Magic's mum, because she messages Magic and her sister and her friends. She messages me. If I said to her, and she is quite a tech savvy older lady, if I said to her, do you use a password manager? She'd probably look at me and say, what's one of them? She wouldn't know. And if I said to her, right, you're going to be backing up every week. I don't use a password manager myself, though I don't use WhatsApp either. Yeah, obviously password managers are very good for remembering every password that you ever set for various websites. You just have to remember the master key, which is either the master password or you have to have some form to get into your account if you should forget your password. Yeah. But yeah, the good thing on a lot of modern phones, and again, most people have a modern phone, not everybody, you can get two-factor authentication via, you know, Google Authenticator or whatever, and then you can generate the key to actually allow you into that account if you need to. You know, usually like say your bank accounts or your I don't know, your Google account, you need to do that. So Twitch, etc. All sorts of accounts now have two-factor authentication. Now, this is kind of the similar thing, but a 64-digit key, I think, is just going to be absolutely bonkers because nobody's going to remember that when you want to decrypt something. And it's like, oh shit, I need that backup, but I can't remember. I didn't write it down. It was 64 digits. It's way too long. So what most people are going to use is the supplied password that they create. But there, in that sense, if they you can't remember my PIN number, yeah. If you can't even, remember your PIN number, password's going to be no good. Most people can. I mean, I have accounts where I'm thinking, I can't remember what the password I used, and I even have a password manager, but maybe I haven't updated the password, and I've changed it, and I'm going, well, I haven't updated the password manager. I know. Thankfully, your wife can. Yeah. Always a good thing. It's a backup method. Let's be fair. But again. Passwords get guessed, passwords get lost, passwords get, confused with other passwords, etc. So I think it's going to be a very... it's not going to be foolproof, but I think it is going to help massively if we can encrypt our backups. Because let's be fair, we're taking the piss about password security and everything, but the simple fact is that we don't want anybody nefarious getting into, because I mean, it might be just private messages between me and Magic, for example. Yeah, that's your own private stuff. But there's going to be, and we know governments use these things as well, there's going to be, private stuff that they don't want sharing across the world. Boris sending a message to Joe Biden saying, yo, dude, how's it hanging? I've just boffed my new secretary. I spaffed it up the wall, that kind of... He's not going to want that to be, known worldwide. However, he's probably a bit of a dick. He'd probably use the password of B0R15 for his password, But anyway, it's Biden doesn't know. Yeah. Unfortunately, he is getting on years. Why did they always put people who were very old in charge? It's like, we've got the experience, yeah, but you don't know what half of the stuff does in the world now. So yeah, wow. Wow. Are you calling Monkey that? Or are you on about Boris? All right, okay. I think you're on about Boris. Fair enough. Yeah, it's fair enough. But it's going to be a good thing. Like you say, some people aren't happy about it, and that is obviously surveillance. Because you know what I mean. You know what I mean, Monkey. They're all a person that signs their name, but they're told what to do, kind of thing, by advisors. They're the ones that really run it. They advise whoever their boss actually is. But yeah, it'd be interesting how this affects. I know people weren't very happy, but is it Zuckerberg doing a good deed for the world? Is he doing it because it's his, product? Who knows? I always wonder, with WhatsApp, with it being free and all these 100 billion messages per day, that costs data to send around the world. How does he make money from it? How do you make money? Do it for the stonks? Yeah, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's doing it out of his own goodwill. Not. But anyway, we'll see what happens with that. I'm sure it'll come in at some point. Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, I suppose. I just keep waiting for the day that he turns around and said you've got to have a Facebook account to use WhatsApp. Because in a few years WhatsApp Pro, yeah, I'm sure it'll come, because. But then there are alternatives you could quite easily switch, and I think that kind of, to a degree, nullifies. I mean, you'll still get millions of people that'll just go, all right, yeah, I'll just go over there and pay me $5 a month or whatever, just go on WhatsApp Pro. But there's going to be a lot of people that'll go, well, I'll just use Signal. Oh, I'll just use Telegram. They're only the other two that I can think off the top of my head that are similar. But you just keep switching. It's like everything in technology. You look back years ago using TeamSpeak or Mumble or Ventrilo, and then all of a sudden everybody's using Discord. Funnily enough, and this isn't this is a complete aside to WhatsApp, Discord has just had a kind of they had Microsoft circling around, but then they've just had some kind of valuation done on the actual product, and they reckon it's worth about 15 billion is the business of Discord. And I know PC Gamer have done a little segment about it saying enjoy it while it's as it is now, because they reckon it's going to change in a few years. If some entity buys it, Discord will stop being Discord as we know it. But we'll see on that one. Again, it's speculation on their point, on their part. So, yeah, I mean, Magic's just said it'll stop being free. Yeah, they could do that. I think they'll still keep it as free just to tie you in, but a lot more things will become restrictive. They have Nitro and server boosts and stuff like that, which generates money for them. But if you could, you know, float and sell shares in your company, and all of a sudden you've got like hundreds of billions of dollars, the original investors, the original people who created it, will be like, thank you very much. See ya, I'm gone. But you would. I mean, I think Notch is the prime example of that. A guy called Notch. Some of you, obviously gamers, will know. Magic will probably look at me and say, who is it? He created Minecraft. Magnus, was it Magnus Peterson? Persson? I can't remember what he's called now. But pretty much he took it to a point where then Microsoft offered him millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. And he took the money and said, right, now what to do with it now. And there you go. And he's living the life of Riley now. You know, so I think there'll be a free level because too many community groups have got to be used to doing it COVID, but extra features would be money. Yeah, there would be a free level, but I think that if they were going to sell it to a big entity, they would probably narrow and narrow and narrow over time what you get for free, just to force even the communities. If you've got lots of communities using it and just say, right, it's going to cost you $20 a month to have those features, you might have 200 members. Was it 1.3 billion fell on? Thank you very much. I knew it was a significant amount. 1.3 billion dollars. If I made an app, a game, whatever, and somebody came along to me after about 10 years, or however long he was making Minecraft for, probably only 5, and said, there you go, have that amount of money, I'd be like, say yeah. give me the money, I'm gone. You know, you would, because nobody in their right mind. Now, to be fair, Microsoft have probably made that back and more by now, I would have thought, just from the Minecraft name, the merchandise, all the different versions, etc. And I'm going to ask the question. I'm probably going to regret this question because I've never really played Minecraft. I've seen it. I've played it many, many years ago, briefly. But I believe there's 2 different versions. One's done in Java, is it? And one's done in a different thing. I can't remember. Which is the better version? I'm going to ask that question. Which is the better version of... yeah, somebody might come along and have vast amounts to buy this GeekCast. Yeah, that would be probably 20p, a half-drunk bottle of Fanta, and a packet of pork scratchings. That would be the offer. That was pounds, so it was like $2.5 billion. No idea. Never played Microsoft version. I don't really like the Java version. The Java is if you want mods. Bedrock, Windows 10 is better performance. Yeah, Java is the original better version. Okay. Now, it's seemingly the game has always seemingly been better with the mods. But I mean, Java's getting on a bit now, isn't it? Let's be fair. As a language, it's getting on a bit long in the tooth. Yeah, I thought I'd ask because I know it's always a divisive subject. People are always like, well, it's a bit shit. Is that, you know, you want to get that one? I think I've asked it before, and I think I've got the same answers from the same people. Don't like the look of it, cheap, blocky, and pixely, and that is the charm of it, and that's why it's like that. Never played it, but Lego plus RTX version looks tempting. Magic would probably play that because he's played some of the Lego games. Yeah. But yeah, they've done a Lego mod of it. I'm sure I saw something the other day. But yeah, the RTX version, which now we'll skip it for later. I won't segue into that a little bit. But anyway, we're going to move on because you know I'm looking at it's 1 hour and 15 minutes we're coming up to, and I've still got a lot to get through. I don't know, even covered half of what happened this week. But anyway, let's put down the stream marker. And next on the list, as I hit the right button, name that. Yes, it's that time. It's name the thing. Yes, we're up to that point. So let's have a little look-see, shall we? So let's moving over. Oh yes, it's that time, boys and girls. What's the name of the game? Yeah, here we go. So this is where people start getting interested, don't they? All the rest of them are just sat there. Will you fucking get on with it? So yeah, name the game and name the movie. You know the score. You know what I'm going to do. Anybody that's new, that's never seen it before, I'm going to reveal a picture. I just love all this star. I'm going to reveal a picture. We are going to be playing Name the Game first, obviously. So you're going to see a picture. It's going to be blurred. I'm going to have a countdown timer for 60 seconds. After 60 seconds, if nobody's got it, we reset it. If you get it in the first 60 seconds, you get 5,000. Hey, original. Thank you very much. You can have a confetti win there. Hey, thank you very much. This is fabulous. It's weird, actually, because I haven't got notification of Keepy's one from earlier. I wonder if it happened just before I went live. Oh, no, it did. I was live, wasn't I? Or was it just before? Oh, I'm not too sure now. But thank you very much. Thank you very much for that original Monkey and Keepy, obviously, for the support. So yeah, 5,000 geek coins if you get it within 60 seconds. 2,000 geek coins if you get it in the next 60 seconds. 1,000 if you get it in the next 60 seconds after that. After that, nobody gets it. Nobody gets any coins, and I just start revealing it. Now, I do think Name the Game is going to be difficult. And I think the movie might be guessed quite quickly. Maybe. So anyway, we'll have a look. Name the Game is coming up. So I'm going to bring up the timer. There we go. We got the timer. So I'm going to refresh the timer, and then you've got 60 seconds to name the game. So let's move. There we go. Name that. I told you it's difficult. I told you. And what I got? What the frigging hell? Spare. Deep rock. Ooh, Keepy. Elite. Snooker. I like that. Oh dear. Pathological. A pathologic 2 spore. I've got to keep up with this because I think every week I've always missed somebody actually putting the right answer in. So we're down to 20 seconds. Elite Dangerous Horizon. 7 days. Oh, Big D, how are you doing? I knew you were hanging around for this. 7 days to die. We're down to 15 seconds. I'm telling you, I thought Valheim. The only game he plays, Valheim. Oh dear. That's it. Time's up on that one. Oof. So nobody got it. No more guesses. If you do any more guesses, I don't count them. It's only when I start the timer, so no more guesses. So anyway, nobody was right. Rust. It's definitely not that original. Definitely not that. My left nut. So, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to de-blur a little bit. I always find this quite funny because I de-blur it by about 25% and then it just doesn't look any different. But yeah, okay, gonna make the image worse. Yeah, I think this is the charm of it. You know, everybody thinks it's gonna look just yeah. Some I will avoid. But anyway, I'm going to de-blur by 25% and see if it makes it any better. I don't think it will. I think it's going to make it obtusely worse. But there we go. Right, there we go. That's your lot for 25% de-blur. No Man's Sky. Somebody puts in Guild Wars 2. Dishonored. Deathloop. He's having a giraffe with this one. I don't know that game. LOTRO. Cyberpunk BC 1000. Dishonored the third one. I can tell you're struggling because hardly anybody's giving me serious answers. Saints Row the third. Oof. Oh my god. No, I did say I thought each of them. 15 seconds. Daisy. Oof. Iconauts. Feeble 3D pinball. Less than 10 seconds. Expeditions Vikings. Banjo Kazooie. And we're down to the last fable. Jesus. Right. No more guesses. Mario's Opium Dreams. Pray to God. So same thing. We're gonna refresh. Oh no, we're gonna take it down to. Hang on, let's just get that the right one. Right, we're gonna take it down to 50%. Oh, this is funny. This is funny. See if anybody can get this. So this is 50%, and then we're gonna refresh the timer. Ooh. Device life spiral control simulator. Outlast. Red Alert. Bad Rats. GoldenEye. Mist. Red Alert 2. Keepy's thinking it's going to be one of those. He's just going to pick it. Elite Dangerous Horizons. That was already guessed, to be fair. StarCraft. This is the last time that anybody can win any money. Any geek coins. I told you it was a toughie. I told you it was a toughie. Subnautica. Space Engineers. Portal. Star Wars Fighter Pilot game. Less than 15 seconds. We're into the last 10. Star Wars Squadrons. I knew you get it in the air eventually. Less than 5 seconds. It's a video game. You're not wrong. Ooh, the winners. No more guesses. No more guesses. Right. Nobody's getting any geek coins for this one, so I have stumped you, which I'm glad about. Oh dear. Right. So I'll reset the timer again, but I am going to take it down to 25% blur. I think you might start to get this at this point. So we're down to 25% blur. Once I find 25%, there it is. 25%. Go. How you doing? How you doing, Ali? This game's shite. Everybody struggles. When people start struggling, I'm like, this is shit. This is shit. Alaris. Ooh, Charvel's going there. Pong. Go on, Annie. Fins of a Solar Empire. Oh, you see. So people seemingly are thinking it's along the space. Earthworm Jim. Blimey. Earthworm Jim. Oh, didn't that come out on PlayStation? Starflight. Galactic Empires. Freelancer. That was a great game. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. I love it. I've stumped you. Right, we're going to take it down to... I'm never going to do the timer on this one because I think you're going to get it on this one. I'm going to take it down to 10%. Some shite space game. Right, down to 10%. He says. There we go. I'm never going to start the timer because I think somebody's going to get it. It was a good guess, that, Annie. It's not Freelancer. Star Wars Battlefront. Pulsar Lost Colony. Oh. Digging up some old names there, aren't we? Digging up some old ones. Star Wars X-Wing. Do you know, if I have to reveal that... Yay! Hart gets it! Starlancer is indeed the right answer. Just to prove it. There we go. It is Starlancer. Oh, I think it was so close. I was like, oh, Star what? Starlancer. Never heard of it. Must be ancient. Yeah. If you've heard of Freelancer, there you go. It's one of those. Chris Roberts. I was fucking 4 years old. That's illegal. Oh. There's an S. There's an S there. There we go. So yes, indeed, Starlancer. I thought this is going back a bit. There's not. It was a great game, Hark. It was a great game. Very much Freelancer, Starlancer. Same company, obviously. Chris Roberts, who's now making Star Citizen. This one was created by his brother, Erin Roberts. Prequel to Freelancer, indeed. Even I didn't play it, to be honest. I think I've got it on something like Good Old Games, but I never played it, to be honest. So Yeah. Ooh. Well, fair play, Hark. You did get it in the end. It was a tough one. I did think it was going to be a tough one. I didn't want to make it too easy. You know, you've had some easy ones. But I think the movie one might be got fairly quick. So we're going to see on that one. So let's just get rid of that. We'll bring the timer back up. So this is name the movie. Okay. So I'm going to obviously reveal the image. That's, you know, a movie. 2 people playing chess. Big day, Viking. Yeah, your time to shine. Indeed, indeed. So we're going to reveal, as we do always, 100% blur, 5K for the first 60 seconds, 2K for the next 60 seconds, 1K for the third, and then after that, nobody gets anything. If you don't get it, you're a twat. Wow, feeling the love, feeling the live, feeling the love. Right, are you ready for this one? So name the movie. I'm going to refresh the timer on the movie. There we go. Dive in. Mary Poppins, Star Trek's Tremors. Star Wars Trek Tremors. Nice. Wizard of Oz, Jurassic Park. Shrek. Heaven Almighty. Wow. God Almighty. 30 seconds. Something with Johnny Sins in it. Valerian. Happy Gilmore. Ah, okay. Clash of the Titans. Ten seconds. Forrest Gump. 5 seconds. Lord of the Rings. Loopers. There we go. No more guesses. No more guesses. Ooh. Hey, I love how people keep guessing even after I've said no more guesses. I know there's a delay. But I can see some of these answers. I can see why you've gone for it. Okay, but you are wrong. Right, so we're going to de-blur to 75%. Make it worse. I do need a real... Do you know what, Big D? I actually did. I thought I created one and I haven't. Well, I have that. That's what she said.
Merry Christmas.
I've got Merry Christmas. Shouldn't have that one on there, should I?
Raise the wanker.
Raise the wanker. What? I have that one for Among Us. What? Yeah, I do need to do another one. But I will get a buzzer, yeah. Right, 75%. Refresh the timer. Hopefully you guys can maybe work this one out. That hasn't fucking done a thing. I love it. I love how it doesn't de-blur a fucking thing. Oh dear. Got it, shot. 2 girls, 1 cup. Oh fuck, I said. All in one. Ice Age. What? Ice Age. Jesus. Return of the Sith. It looks like a woolly mammoth. Okay. The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. Oh, Annie's giving the proper titles. Sadly wrong, Annie. Red shirt man exit angrily. Oh dear. GTA 5 cutscene. Ants. It's definitely from a movie. 15 seconds. Winnie the Pooh. 10 seconds. A Bug's Life. 5 seconds. Pissy woman stands behind thinking she was won before she realized he has the car keys in his way home. Postman always rings twice. Oh, yeah. Oh, dear. Oof. I thought this might be got. I reckon it, you know, people will be like, what? Anyway. Right, 50% then blur. Hopefully this will do a little bit better. I'm not guaranteeing anything. 50%. There we go. Refresh the last timer. It has. Shrek 2. Red Sonja. Blimey, Annie. Are you just you're going to be going like Conan the Barbarian or Conan the Destroyer next? Ooh. 30 seconds gone. 30 seconds. I love this because I know the answer, and I find it fascinating going to the barrier. I just love how I can see why people have guessed certain things. And it's the same every week. It really is. Legend. Sword in the Stone. Wreck-It Ralph. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Kill Bill family friendly version. Shrek. And it's time's up again. Trump man. Oh, dearie me. Right. So we're gonna go down to 25% then. 25. I just love how the blur just doesn't do fuck all. It just blur, and then nothing. Nothing changes. So 25%. Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Is he gonna give it? Oof. Let's just restart the timer before I have to take it down to 10%. Ooh. World of Warcraft movie. National Lampoon. Kaddish. Tornado. Ah, yeah. Uncharted movie. Yeah. Yay, Big D. Well done, that man. It is A Quiet Place. Horror movie. Well done, Big D. We will actually reveal that. We will de-blur. There it is. That is Emily Blunt and her husband, John Krasinski, I think he's called. And he directed it as well. Jim from The Office. Yeah, the American Office. It's a very good film. Pretty much the movie buff. Sadly, I love that. Sad Lonely Hermit. Never heard of it either. Yeah, The Office. I definitely, I won't spoil it, but I definitely suggest people go watch it. I've seen bits of it. I think you'd like it to a degree, but pretty much you've got to be quiet. Yeah, and they've actually made a Quiet Place 2 as well. Yeah, there's a sequel to it. So yeah, but yeah, that's Emily Blunt on the left, and then John Krasinski, who played like Jim from The Office, the US version anyway. And they are husband and wife. They are married. So yeah, he wrote it. Yeah, he didn't he write the screenplay for it? Was it based on something else though? I can't remember when I did my little research on it. But yeah, that is a tough one. But yeah, I could see why you were all saying like Caddyshack and stuff like that, because it looks like somebody's on a golf course or something like that. I'll ring him and ask. Charvel's like, I know him. I'll just find out. All of a sudden, he just says, yeah. He says he did write it, and it was all his story. But yeah, well done, Big D. Yeah, film buff indeed, and also well done to Hark for getting Starlancer. I like the little things they did in the movie, like all the little things people have done to be quiet, like not eating crisps, crisps, stuff like that. Yeah. Oh dear, I love it. It's a geek. His picture around is shite. See, people love this. It's always a challenge. They always piss and moan, but they love it. That's what they come for, because they know it's difficult. And I like the fact that I take it from 100% to 75% on blur, and it doesn't make a blind bit of difference. You're still none the wiser. I can't actually remember what it was that I de-blurred, and it actually looked worse. It looked worse. I'm thinking, I'm not just you. Allegedly, indeed. I have no idea, but anyway, that's name the movie and name the game, which it's the fun bit. It's the fun bit. Anyway, let's just get rid of that crap. But well done, Hark. Well done, Big D. Congrats on that. Way up. Get away. Go on. Way. It's coming back again. Thank you. There we go. Got rid. And back again to where we go. There we go. So, one more. What was the other thing I was going to do? There was something else as well. Yeah, I haven't got onto that. There was something else. Ignore the confetti. It's a remnant from before when I switched. It It's like, no, I'm still working. Hide the sausage. Hang on. I need to get rid of that. It's stuck because it was still blamed from when I right, let's just do that. Wet biscuit. Wow. Are these all the euphemisms for stuff? Yeah, that's just not getting rid of. It's getting worse. It's like snow. There we go. It's gone. Yay! Finally. Right. I feel like I need a big swig of a drink before we dive into this next subject. Oh, fuck. I'm going to get that on Saturday. Yes, on Saturday. Right, next up. The LOTRO, Brawler and Legendary Item Revamp. Oh my. Right, if you've been following the channel for any length of time, you know that I play Lord of the Rings Online quite a significant amount. And you'll know that we've got the new class coming later this year. We also know that we've got the Legendary Item Revamp on Bull Roarer currently. So SSG launched the new Brawler class and the first iteration of the Legendary Item Revamp onto the Bull Roarer preview server last week. Since then, we've had an update yesterday, which is kind of a slight update to the Legendary system and tweaks to certain classes and specifically the Brawler, which is on Bull Roarer again. I'll probably return to that just to give it a bit more of a once-over because I'm trying to get it into my head how it all works. Views are somewhat mixed about both the new class, which is a melee DPS in a similar vein to a champ, but using a combination of kicks, punches, slams, whilst consuming a thing called metal, which is generated in a similar fashion to a champ's fervor. So you obviously, if you play any of the classes that kind of generate focus, which is the hunter, fervor, which is the champ, you build up by using your skills, and then you have a certain amount which you can then use on larger, stronger skills. So it's in the same fashion as that. Some players aren't happy about it, and they consider it outside the realms of Tolkien's lore, yet others see it as a nice addition. This is always the bone of contention with people, because some people say, how can you have that in the lore? There wasn't any reference to it. Now, the way that SSG have got around it is they've said that it's pretty much a based around Helm Hammerhand, who was renowned for wading into battle, fists swaying and clonking everything that moved. So they've kind of based it loosely around that. How people argue that it isn't a lore relevant class, I don't know how they can argue it at all when we have lore masters, when we have rune keepers, where we have minstrels that are firing and singing at people, etc. It is a game, let's be fair, at the end of the day, and game mechanics aren't real mechanics, and it's based in a fantasy world anyway. So as long as we're not sending, digital messages from a synthesizer that the minstrel's playing, one of them strap around keyboards that you can play, that they played in the 80s. I don't think people can really complain. I played it a little bit in the first iteration last week. Personally, I thought it was okay. I wouldn't say it was any kind of life-changing experience. The DPS was all right, but it is a heavy armor class, which isn't surprising because it's basically a little mini tank that's beating the shit out of something. But I still felt quite squishy, but that was early on. I only played to say maybe level 5 or something like that. Excuse me, sorry about that. So I didn't get too much of a balance. There is more balance passes happening. Passes happening. I'll try that in English. And that's obviously going to happen for months and months and years on end, because it just happened with every class. After a little while, I switched over to, well, I kind of leveled that character. I went to the Isengard Tavern, which is where you basically can upgrade your character to everything that you want to. You can take it to level cap, you can give it every deed that you need, etc., or you can copy one of your existing characters over. Now, the Legendary Revamp this is the third iteration of it. They had the original version, which came out with Moria back in 2008. Then, obviously, they did the imbuement thing, which was what came in at around a level 100 with Minas Tirith, which was... I can't remember when that was. Probably about 2012, something like that. Now, this has been the bone of contention for many. Yeah, Gesundheit. Yeah, you said that, don't you? Gesundheit. Bless you. Yeah, for that. So yeah, it's a bone of contention for many, even though it was just a first look at the first reveal and the first chance to people get hands on. Balance wasn't something some players adhered to when offering an opinion, and this is the bugbear that I have from all this. I did mention it last night as well. And it was very prevalent when you were in the crafting hall and people were prattling about with the legendaries. Some people literally just got it and just went, "That's shit," and they'd literally type that. "That's a load of bollocks. That's terrible. This is it." And I did rant about this last night as well. If you are going to pass any form of feedback to any developer, whether you think it's the worst thing since sliced bread, you are just going to get pushed out to a side if you start saying, "That's shit, that's crap, that's terrible, fuck you. What have you done?" They're not going to listen to you. They're not going to listen. And I don't know, I can understand people's anger or frustration with stuff, but if you're just going to be downright rude, the devs are not just going to do anything. They're just going to say, "Sorry, that's your opinion. We don't want to know." Now, if you have an issue with anything, and I'm not talking about LOTRO, if you want to go to a forum, if you're a member of a forum, if you want to go to the customer service desk in Tesco's, wherever, you can legitimately just go up and speak to someone. If you went to Tesco's, for example, and said at the desk, "I've just bought this, but it was terrible. You know, can I have a replacement, etc. This wasn't right," they'd probably serve you, deal with the problem, the customer complaint, etc., and it would be dealt with. How do you think that person would react? Or would you react in the same way to a human being stood in front of you and said, "This, I don't know, orange that I bought is fucking shite. I can't believe you sold me this piece of shit. What are you thinking? I don't want it. I want a refund and I demand it now. This isn't what I asked for. This is fucking terrible." Now, some people are like that because they're just rude. But there's no way on this earth that you can do that just because you are behind a keyboard. It must be so disparaging for the developers. Absolutely disparaging if they have to deal with that kind of crap that gets thrown at them. I will call SSG out. I will say that they've done something wrong, and I'll even mention that in a bit. However... Yeah, devs being sensible don't read world chat for feedback. I mean, some of the things, to be honest with you, Nettlebrew, that have been said on the forums, the LOTRO forums, are borderline almost like insulting. If you disagree with something, then pretty much disagree with it. However, you've got a limit of where you can go with stuff. Now, the system itself is divisive. It's not going to be perfect for everyone, just as the Brawler isn't going to be perfect for everyone. Now, the problem with the legendary system, it's going to affect everyone. The Brawler isn't going to affect everyone because you don't have to play it, you don't have to purchase it. If you don't want any interest in it, you can avoid it. That's entirely fine. But pretty much the system is like a socketed system. So think of the Essence system that we currently have. You dive in using various things that are called traceries. It is a bit confusing to start with. I went in last night and spent more time looking at it, and even I got confused. And the problem with it is that the UI isn't done properly. There's bugs with the system and everything else. So overall, it's kind of given a little bit of a look at it, and it is the first revision, but it's also given some people a bad idea of it. So the weapons and items will grow along with you through basically reforging that we already do, and upgrading in a slightly different manner. So you pretty much upgrade via what are called enchantment runes. They then upgrade the level of the tracery that is on your weapon. Again, it's a lot more easier to explain if I had a visualization of it, but it is a little bit problematic because the UI is likely to change. in the near future. You can have several in your inventory as well. You just have to put them into the kind of socket place to actually access them on the character screen. So if you have the character screen in the bottom right hand corner underneath your boots, you'll see a little flame icon, and that is where your essence slot is, and that's where you drag the item to. If you haven't seen it, like I say, I've got a video a stream from yesterday that we looked at it. I'll also going to dive in again to have a little look at it as well. You'll obviously deconstruct them to get parts from them, etc. As you go along. Now, bartering for upgrades will be done via what's called ancient scripts, and they'll be firstly done in Rivendell. Now, they have a library. This is a library system for finding these traceries, etc. It's going to be in Rivendell, so you're going to be traveling backwards and forwards to there initially. Now, I hope in a further iteration they give more places the viability to have this library that you can barter things with, because going to Rivendell every time isn't the easiest thing to get to. I know you can get it from Southgate Bree straight to there if you discovered it, etc. Most people will have done by then, but there's no reason why in the main places such as Bree, you know, even somewhere in Moria, that they couldn't find a place to put it, so that people have got access instead of thinking I've got to go back to Rivendell all the time. But again, it's an early look at it. I'm just going to go through some of the comments before I go into my personal thoughts about it. Evie said about the Brawler, the animation attack speed is too slow. Most people think it's fine though, so it seems just to me and a few others on that bit. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you a little bit. It was a bit buggy when I played it, and the animation was maybe a bit slow, but I think if they do too quick animations, people will then think I should be hitting more often. So if you are throwing 5 punches when the animation should be only throwing 4, you're going to think I'm not hitting hard enough for the amount of punches I'm throwing. So that kind of thing. Again, it's going to be a balance. Very difficult, I think, for the devs to try and get this right, as always the case. And I said last night, SSG have a way that they go pendulum. They can start over here, and then the pendulum swim, so it's over here, and then they swing it back, so it's about here, and then they swing it back to about here, and then roughly they get it about there. So it's about right, but then sometimes it just goes too out of whack. Maylan says SSD need to worry about fixing all the bugs rather than one line in the back of a book to fish for a new class we don't need. Maylan, what I will say about that is that personally, and the players might not need it, which I mean the Brawler class overall. However, the game needs it. Now, the reason for that is that SSG offer a game that is free to play. They have the subscribers. They have the people who buy things from the LOTRO store. They also have new players coming in, but they also need an income from that. And one of those ways is to have a new class that is going to cost physical money to buy with a pre-order of Gundabad, or from the LOTRO store with LOTRO points, or literally buyable with real cash, because that is the money that keeps the game going. Now, people can say, I don't need it, I don't want it. If you don't want it, or you don't need it, or you don't like it, you don't buy it. But the game needs it because we need funding. And I know SSG have been bought out by Enid Global, but Enid Global still need an income from that game. They need something to bring in that is going to pay the bills, server costs, development costs, staffing costs, rental of properties for wherever the dev team are. I know some of them are probably still working at home, but all of a sudden your lease doesn't stop on the buildings. You know, that still needs to be paid. So there's all the associated costs, and subs will do that. Expansions pay for that, but extras such as cosmetics in the LOTRO store, things such as Valars in the LOTRO store, and a new class which is available for LOTRO points or real cash, as I say, or a pre-order, is a way to bring income into the company. So I'm not pulling you up there. Please don't think I am. I think when people say they don't need the class, yes, personally, people don't need it, but the game needs it because it's a generation of income. If we forget that the game won't exist and we won't be playing it anymore, because it may only seem a little amount, but it's a large amount over a long time, which could be brought into the game by having the classes. People would have said exactly the same about the Warden, same against the Runekeeper, same against the Bjorning, etc. It needs it. We need it because it's for the longevity of the game. Bruce said that. What is yours? Do you have any ideas? No, it's crap. Thanks for the nice conversation. Yeah. I have questions. Why have the preview of the Ally Sisters been in such a bad state? They must know it's bad. Nettlebrew, what I'll say about this is that if you take Star Citizen as an example, and it's probably the prime example of a method of what a company has tried to do, and at times it's bitten him in the ass. We would not normally, in the general state of play when it comes to game development, ever see anything until a beta. Now, a beta normally means demo. With this, I think what they're doing is that they've thought a different change of tact. Let's get people on board by having the communication, which they've said they're improving. Reninia's been talking more. There's been a bit more conversations on the forums, whether it's agreeing with people or disagreeing with people or putting points of view out that people don't agree with. At the end of the day, they wanted it to be out there. People look at it and say, this is our aim. It's not finished. It needs work. If you have any suggestions, because we want to be having your involvement, then that's what they've done. And it seems like people have got grumpy about it, and SSG are in a rock and a hard place. If they didn't say to people, have a look at this, see what you think, it's on a preview server. Now, take the word preview, split it down, preview. Okay, it's an early look. It's previewing it as final. So it's not final. It's on a beta server. It's on a test server. It's not there for launch. There's still work to be done. It's not going to be in a 100% finished state. They have admitted that when it goes live, it's not going to be fully fleshed out. It's not going to be fully finished at launch. Now, you might say, well, that's a bad thing in itself. If they've been given a timeline and a deadline to get something out, such as Gundabad, and they've turned around and said, right, we've got this other feature that we want to bring in beforehand, such as the legendary item revamp, they're going to think, shit, we need to get it as good as we can and then work on it after that. Do I think that there's going to be an issue with it at a launch before Gundabad? Hell yes. I think Gundabad could be an absolute clusterfuck with it if it's not right. Exactly. Palantir, I don't know, because I'm not privy to that. I've just seen that come through, but definitely Palantir could have been even more rudimentary, and it is in a rudimentary state. It's not anywhere finished. We've all seen it. You saw the stream last night. The UI is slightly improved, but it's not the finished article by any stretch. So I think we're going to see another revision. Again, we're 6 to 8 weeks out from probably its release with the Brawler. I think they're coming first before Gundabad. We're just in, say, mid-September, so that would put it end of October, middle of October, for kind of, well, sorry, end of October into November. If three weeks after that, we're into, say, end of November, Gundabad launches. There's still time. Now, as with all things, what we see is not what is already. Allies are early October that they come out. Okay, so what he suggests and what happens, I think, are going to be slightly different. I think with the feedback and the eruptions that are happening in around this, I'd be very surprised if it's out within 2 or 3 weeks. I would say later. But just to tie in with that, the point I was about to make was the situation behind closed doors of where they are with the UI, where they are with the engineering side, where they are with the overall feel of the allies and what they've made is not going to be where we see it on Bullroarer. The same for the technical test, and I mentioned this exactly last night. The technical test that we had for Battlefield 2042 was at times looked absolutely atrocious. And the people that dived into that were like, I can't believe how shit it looks. That's terrible. This doesn't work. That doesn't work. This crashed. That doesn't work. This and that. Yeah, subsequently, Battlefield 2042 was been delayed by a month. But the technical test, which was basically a technical test, it wasn't a gameplay test, was to look at something, get it working, see if it worked on the scale that they expected it to work, and is it any good. But they said that it was at least a few months behind in build. Now, I think further down the line, oh, sorry, not further down, what's been worked on as parallel is going to be much further ahead. I do honestly think it's going to be much further ahead. I'm not to say that it's going to be perfect. Again, I will not say that it's going to be perfect because I know it won't be. Nothing's perfect at launch, because once you launch something, once it's out in the wild, everybody starts playing it. Everybody starts, you know, 1,000 beta testers are not going to be the same as 100,000 players, because there's too many permutations. There's too many variances that the real acid test is launched, where everybody gets their hands on it. And then somebody goes, oh, I found a bug, because there's 10,000 people all trying to break the game, make it not work properly, etc. Whereas 1,000 beta testers on a private server are not going to find every variance of these bugs that can crop up. Right, I'm just going to put my personal thoughts about everything. I've kind of already touched on it. I've kind of written a little bit of a guff about it. But anyway, personal thoughts about the whole Brawler fiasco, about people crying like little children. Pretty much the outcry for not liking the system or unapproving of the new class is the norm for a lot of long-term players who rightly have a vested interest in the game, but also very typical of an entitled user base. People threatening to just quit even without seeing or mentioning Fate of Gundabad, the new upcoming expansion, reeks of petulance. It pretty much, people have just gone, fuck it, I don't like that. What were they bringing the Brawler in? What I don't like the legendary system. And then they go, and I've even people have been saying, right, I'm not going to bother, I'm quitting. I might not play LOTRO anymore. You haven't even seen fucking Fate of Gundabad yet. You haven't seen the new content there. You haven't seen what the full fleshed out legendary system is going to be. You've been given access to a preview. If you didn't want to know, you shouldn't have gone in there. It's like complaining that you've walked into a gay bar when it says gay bar on the front of it, and then complaining there's gay people in there. I mean, that's just an analogy. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going into a gay bar. There's absolutely nothing. But people will complain for the sake of complaining because it doesn't fit their narrative. And people really need to pull their fingers out of their asses and stop being babies, because it just pisses me off when I see it in the chat, either in Discord, wherever. I'm leaving the game. I don't want to know. Yeah, take a break. If you're not happy, take a break. But I'll guarantee 99% of them people that have been saying that exact thing will be there on launch day with the Fate of Gundabad and thinking, yeah, okay, I think the LI system needs work. Everybody's going to say that. But just to stop playing a game that you've been playing for 14 years, you know, or less, just because of a change that isn't finished. Yeah, okay. The game is free to play. It needs to monetize various things, and this is just to go back to what you were on about, Maylan, especially outside of the sub-VIP model, and bringing in a new class will help that, as will updating the LI system. An update to the LI system, if they can do it right, will allow players to have a bit more interest in the game, because people at the moment are just going a bit grindy, you know. Yeah, can we make it a little bit easier? But then again, it's a double-edged sword for that, because they make it a little bit less grindy, and then people will be like, yeah, but I really want to max out my my legendary, and it's a little bit grindy still. So they can't win. The devil if they do, the devil if they don't. They really can't win either way. If you don't like the Brawler, don't play it. Simple as that. Nobody's forced to level 1, and the LI revamp was never going to eradicate the grind, but to alleviate it somewhat if the design works well. And that's what it boils down to. We need to know what the LI system is like at launch. We don't know the costs of the ancient scripts. We don't know how much it is to deconstruct legendaries, reforge them. We're not entirely sure on, because they haven't set them down in stone. So don't throw your toys out the pram, because there's some of the basics for how much. If they turn around and said, that the ancient scripts that you can get are only going to cost you, I don't know, if you can barter for them, say 2 or 3 items, you're going to get them very, very quickly. But you're going to need a few of them, but you'll get them from various instances. People are like, oh, this isn't too bad. If they make it too difficult, people will be like, shit, it's just a big grind like they've always done, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that would be kind of justified. But there has to be a blocker with the game. There has to be a grind with every MMO that you can name. There's always been one. Otherwise, it doesn't survive. That's why they've always brought them in. The imbuement system was a grind. The Scrolls of Empowerment at Minas Tirith, the essences that you used to have to get when you're going into Mordor, all that kind of stuff is there to slow people down and give them something to do. Yes, it's an easier option than making content. Making new instances, new raids is fucking difficult, I'm sure, because you've got so many variances with all the balancing of the classes to deal with. Otherwise, they just make a cookie cutter of an instance and it's all the same DPS race. And at times, that's what it's been. It's been a DPS race with mitigations and your vitality through the roof. Just blast it and see what happens. Well, there's no fun in that. We know that. The rudimentary UI of the legendary system isn't helping at the moment. Also, doing the stream. Now, some of you will have seen after they released the first iteration, I think it was the evening after the launch, they did a stream, Cordovan and I think it was MVP, one of the testers people, I think it was MVP. They did a stream after post Bull Roar release regarding how the system works, and I think that was a very, very stupid idea. And I did say last night, they should have done it before. They should have done that stream before they hit the button to launch. Yeah, Vastin and Cord was the day after. Yeah, I knew they'd done one straight after, and that was it, even though MVP did the stream. Yeah, that was it. But they were going through the changes to, I think, not only the Brawler, but also the Legendary. But yeah, there was 2 that they did in a short sequence of days. Now, they should, and this is the thing that annoyed me, and this is why I say I will call out SSG if I think they did something stupid, and I think this is what they should have done. They need to inform the user base of how the system works for the allies. This is what we're talking about. Dispel the myths and conjecture before it can spread, and most importantly, reiterate that it's a working process before launching it to everybody that could go on to Bull Roarer. That, to me, should have happened. And it would have, like I say, stopped all the conjecture, all the bullshit, all the badness happening. Well, not all of it, to be fair, because there's still people who will just rant and fucking rave for any reason. They would have been able to say, look, this is how it is. It's in rudimentary form. It's nowhere near finished. This is how you do X, Y, Z. A visual representation on screen in Bull Roarer on their own, and say, right, this is how you're going to do it. Everybody that could watch it could see how it was done. I've gone in there yesterday and tried to do it, and I was fucking confused. And a lot of people are going to be in the same thing. I know people that were watching the stream. I know Magic was like, fucking hell, you can't comprehend it. How am I going to deal with it? Same with Yinya. She was, confused with it. I'm sure other people have looked at it and gone, fucking hell, I don't know how this works. Because there was bugs in the UI. The UI isn't finished. And then obviously there's no costs involved. Everybody gets the free cash from the bloody great big bar that's just stood there. You can get loads of money. You can buy everything. So it isn't a real representation, but it's a way of understanding how the system works. But to me, they should have done that way before. And literally, they should have done the stream and said, right at the end, and this should have been Cordovan doing the stream with MVP or Vastin, whichever it was, and said, right, here you go. This is how you do everything. This is how it works. Do it several times so people could see it. And then go, right, boys and girls, here you go. Hit the button. You're now in. Go try it. Give us your feedback. And then people can't then be like they were in World Chat saying, this fucking sucks. Why is this doing this? Why is that doing that? I can't do this. Because they should have been informed beforehand. Now, not everybody would have watched the stream. Not everybody would have been bothered. And they would still have had that kind of thing. But it would have helped a lot of people have a advanced warning about what to look for. Because people go onto preview servers and beta servers, and they did it with Battlefield 2042, expecting a finished game. They do, even though it says it's not finished, it's not worked. So yeah, you can't help some people, but you alleviate that problem for yourself by being proactive and doing it ahead of time, not afterwards, not going, oh shit, everybody's got the fucking wrong idea here. No, you don't do that. You do it beforehand. And this is why I say SSG got this wrong. I think they've admitted that they should have done something similar to this. I think Renini said something along those lines that, oh crap, I kind of got this wrong here. You've got to do it in advance, and it's the same with every game. And I'm not, Eric and everybody at Rockfish Games, I'm not singing their praises saying they're the best thing since Brawler. They should do that in advance, and they do it relatively well. They'll look at stuff and they'll show it off in the weekly things, and then lo and behold, then it goes on to it's pushed to live just after that. SSG improving in communications, but still making basic mistakes as players were left in limbo to work out how it all worked and have questions that weren't answered before they began, thus leading to bad information spreading. So yeah, that was just something to reiterate. Now players, this is what I'm aiming for as well. Players really need to take a step back, evaluate what they have got with the changes now, then look at it again in the next preview. Okay, now since I wrote this, I did put when it hits Bull Roarer due in the next few days. It has gone live. There has been a second iteration. There has been a slight improvement with the UI. Not much, but it is a slight improvement. But maybe that's just a bit that's definitely working, that they thought, right, we can push that to Bull Roarer. People can have a look at it. But we're going to have to wait to see the final article because we aren't there yet. As I said, it's an evocative and necessary change, and players need to tend not like change. We're creatures of habit. We really are, and we don't like change. But these changes will become the new norm in a few months ahead. After Christmas, people will still be like, okay, I'm still getting used to it, but they'll be used to that system. They aren't going to be thinking, okay, no, we're getting confused with two systems. If the old legacy system of the allies will eventually go. So we're going to see changes, and eventually people are just going to be getting their heads around it. But it is just working that out. So pretty much, and this is my final comment on it, go grab the toys that so many of you have thrown out of the pram, buckle up on your booster seats and take a ride on the next part of LOTRO's journey. And if you don't like it, there's the door, just don't play it at the end of the day. But like I said, I'll guarantee most people who've been throwing the toys out of the pram, spitting their dummies, having a wobble, will be back for Gundabad. Whether they like the legendary item, whether they like the Brawler or not. And it's just people having a hiss of it, of having entitledness. If you've got better ideas, tell the devs. And the prime example, I think you told us yesterday, Keepy, or somebody did, I do apologize if it wasn't you, that somebody did a mock-up of what they thought the ally system UI should look like. And they really liked that idea. Now, that is the kind of feedback that they will love to hear, that they'll think, fucking hell, this guy knows their stuff. There'll always be some sarcastic comment that will say, it looks like we're doing the dev's job for them. You can't win. Whatever you do, you try and get the community involved, you try and get people interested, and then all of a sudden other people will throw it back in the face. At the end of the day, the allies coming, the Brawler's coming, Gundabad's coming. Suck it up. If you don't like it, F off. That's what I say, because to be honest with you, I don't want to hear you all whinging, not you all, all the whinging that comes from the entitled people. Yeah, you play your high-level raiders, so what? Some people are moaning about the lack of, or the weapon swapping getting taken. Sorry, that had to go. You're dealing with it. It's getting taken out. If you don't like it, again, the door's there. Don't let it hit you on the ass on the way out. So let people enjoy the game instead of just wah, 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 because that's what you hear. Anyway, I'm going to move on now because I've spoken way too long. I'm over 2 hours here and I've still got bits to talk about. What's going on? What's ever going on? And I've got a cup of tea and a drink of that, so just bear with me. The new Legends won't make a difference to me. Not far enough along to do the old system yet. Yeah, Annie, I know you like level 70 something, I think, on your champ. Pretty much the old system is going to stay, but then you're not going to be able to get any of the old stuff as such. You are really going to have to get used to the new system straight away. But yeah, a lot of people, we had this question last night actually. Somebody did ask me, Ixie, I don't think they're here. They were at level 45 and they wanted to know what to do. They said, should I carry on with the old system, because they literally were just going to get their first legendary 89. or do they wait until the new one comes out? So I had to ask them how long they'd been playing. And they last played like 10 years ago. They'd just come back and they got to level 45. And I said, how long did that take you and what class are you playing? And they were a law master and they got to level 45 in under 3 weeks. Now, yes, that's easily doable. And I said, oh, that could be an interesting one. How are you going to cope if you back off a little bit? Oh, Maury, apparently you can get your new element, but can't use it until level 50. Yeah, I've heard that, because obviously the new level system is, or the new LI system is going to be, there's a minimum requirement, which is level 50. But at the moment, you obviously this is where it's going to get. The old LIs, you can get at level 45 and start using it straight away. Up to that. Tom, I'm not going to talk about that. I haven't really mentioned it, but I'll have a little word about that at the end. But anyway, moving on. Before I get dashed onto that. Right. I said I wasn't going to mention New World, but I am actually going to mention New World. EVGA recently had a lot of bricked 3090s. Now, if you didn't hear about this, pretty much it was all to do, and it came to a head with a closed beta that was about a month ago for New World, which is the MMO that's coming from Amazon. Now, several people who had 3090s, which is the top tier NVIDIA card currently, had a few issues where all of a sudden their cards would stop working. And they, it's not good when you spent about £2,000 on a graphics card, you know, about £1,800, £1,800 or more on a card that stops working. Now, seemingly what was happening is in the menu of the game of New World, the frame rate was allowed to just run totally bonkers. It was rendering 3D, but it was like basically a 2D image with very few 3D elements, but it just went rampant. And if your graphics card was allowed to just run away with itself, it would be pulling hundreds, if not thousands of frames per second. Now, that's all well and good. You can't see 1,000 frames a second. You know, most people struggle the difference between, say, 30 and 60 or 60 and 120. So when your monitors can't put out that much, you know, you might pull, say, 360 frames at the most, some of the top level monitors, but most people run maybe 60 to 120 frames per second on their monitor. Anyway, the frame rate was running away with itself, and then all of a sudden the card would stop. It would brick. It wouldn't be usable. They couldn't do anything. Now, it turns out that several of these, obviously 3090s that EVGA made, pretty much had gone bang. Now, the total was actually 24, and these are the 24 that they've had back through their RMA. Now, RMA means Return Merchant Authorization. So basically, it's when you say to somebody, I need to return this because it's got something's wrong. Can I send it back? They say, yes, here's your code. Send that back. We'll sort it out. Now, to be fair to EVGA, they said that they'd just replace them if something was wrong, etc., as they do with an RMA. They do an upfront RMA, so you would basically put a down payment for the card. They would send it out. You would then send them the other one back, so that you were never without a card, even though the card had already gone bang anyway. But it was a quicker way to get a card replacement. Now, initially, like I said, New World was getting blamed for this, and they actually did something about it by capping the 60 frames per second in the menu. Now, I capped the game at 60 frames per second totally, so it couldn't do anything above that. But they did release a little patch that stopped the menu from running away from itself. Now, moving on a few weeks after the EVA swapped out some of the affected 3090s, they did due diligence, really. They did some very interesting, in-depth work on the cards and tested them just to make sure. Now, before they started taking them all apart and pulling off the coolers and pulling off the back plates and everything, they actually x-rayed some of the cards. They did put them through an x-ray machine. Now, pretty much, I think if you x-rayed something that's dead, it's not going to revive anyway, but I'm not too sure how good it does for components anyway, x-raying things. I mean, sometimes it can be dangerous for human beings to have too many x-rays, so I don't know how it's going to do for any kind of graphical, technical part. But anyway, they did, And what they actually found was that it wasn't New World that was causing the problem. During manufacture, some of the MOSFETs, which are tiny, usually like tiny little capacitors or chips that are usually near the RAM, etc., on the cards, hadn't been soldered properly. So it was during manufacture on the actual EVGA factory lines, whoever makes them for them, the machines hadn't been soldering properly. And what was happening is that when the frame rate rocketed through the roof, these MOSFETs started to vibrate, and then they'd actually physically pop off the board. Now, if that happens, you can kiss goodnight to your graphics card. Now, I know what you're saying, Tom. Do we feel sorry for them? Yes and no, because at the end of the day, if somebody can afford that amount, you're going to be pretty pissed that they can't they can't use it. Yes, have some people scalped them? Yeah, if they're a scalper and they've got one, you shouldn't feel sorry for them. If they're a genuine person that's just thought, fuck it, I need a graphics card and that's the best one I can get, I'm going to do it. I spent 2,000. You shouldn't ever be, nasty towards somebody that can afford something that you can't. I think that's wrong, because everybody can afford things at different levels. And that's just the way of the world. Do I think somebody that owns a Ferrari that goes bang just because I've got a Ford, something like that, it's horses for courses. But fair play to EVGA. They never blamed New World. It was the whole press and players and everything. Again, information that runs wild, seems to spread very, very quickly, and it's wrong information, because EVGA did actually come out and say, look, it's not the game, it's our manufacturing process. And for them to come and do that when you see other companies like Gigabyte and NZXT, etc., with their issues of late, you can see why. I think they probably felt like they needed to do that, because you can't blame somebody else for shoddy workmanship, and a lot of people will do that. But fair play to them. They came out, and I said that even at the time, that though a GPU can be put under stress, it would be very rare that a game actually kills a card. Now, if something was manufactured correctly, a 3090, for example, without the dodgy MOSFETs, that wouldn't have happened. The frame rate could have gone to 1,000. It shouldn't have ever popped off. Well, that's not the game. Still shouldn't allow that to happen, and they did patch it. It was something that got missed. Maybe they weren't running 3090s, and that's why it was never picked up. But obviously, bingo, bad workmanship. That's what caused it. So fair play to EVGA for sorting it out. Hopefully the press will pick up on it, that pretty much, hey, it's not New World. Don't bash New World. And maybe it's just because it's Amazon and Jeff Bezos and all his cronies, and he's turned into a bit of a Fruit Loop, that bloke. Actually, he's a little bit weird, because there was something I read about him the other day, that he was wanting to invent something just basically to keep him alive or something like that. Very strange, very strange. But yeah, right, we're going to quickly move on. I'm just going to take a quick slurp of tea, because I haven't had it yet, and Magic's giving me weird looks as if to say, you haven't drunk any EVT yet. There we go. Right, so next up, and this is near enough the last one, actually. So right, Twitch is suing the hate raiders. They see, investing in eternal life. He was after something like that, I can't remember. So he wants to, all these billions. He's obviously doesn't want to let go of those billions for a while. So Twitch has filed a lawsuit against two people who have targeted marginalized streamers, usually persons of color, and flooded their chats with racist, sexist, and homophobic language and content. Recently, there was a hashtag Day Off Twitch movement trying to force Twitch to deal with the issue and help those who were being targeted. It worked to some degree, as there was a significant decline in viewership that day. The two people who are cited in this lawsuit are yet unknown, but are being referred to as cruise control and creatine overdose. Both of them are suspected as living somewhere in Europe. The lawsuit also seeks a legally binding injunction that will prohibit the defendants from using Twitch, as well as various sorts of damages and legal fees. They can currently evade the account bans by being able to generate new accounts, and also one of the methods to stop the raids was to go into follower-only mode if you did get targeted. However, the bot creators are now making bot accounts follow channels to circumvent that. Now, we've had it fairly recently. We haven't had it for a couple of days, which is good, because I've been banning a lot of bot accounts to my ban list. But if you see any people in your chat, if you do stream at all with the name Hoss, HOSS or H055 or anything like that, they usually have that prefix. Whatever you do, just ban them. We did talk about this for Christy the other night because she sent me a little IM via Twitch because she was having issues and her friend was having issues of all these different people following, etc. And she wasn't aware that it was something nefarious. Now, luckily for us, we were kind of on the ball. We got rid of them as soon as we saw them. Probably right on cue. We'll have one turn up. Yeah, but we're on the ball with it anyway. So between me, Hark, Verlon, Keepy, we do keep a good eye on them. So we do keep them to a minimum. But yeah, because they can now, all the bots have been made to follow accounts. Follower only mode is pretty useless because they can still chat in follower only mode. So hopefully this lawsuit will do something. But they've obviously picked them up very quickly now. Again, we still don't know who they are. Now, I'm going to actually put a link into chat for anybody that is interested. I did mention it again the other night, and this is more of informational purposes for everyone that streams, or even if you don't stream. That website there is twitchtools.rootonline.d. It's a guy called Commander Root. He's been around a little while. He's actually sat in our channel if you look at the viewer list. It is a bot tool that he has running. And pretty much the tools that he has available there allow you to do all sorts of wonderful things, such as banning en masse a load of banned accounts. So people like all your hosses can get a thing. Now, the thing with it is, sub-only chat may be a solution. Yeah, that could be a possibility. The problem with that is that, I mean, take for example, out of my viewers, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, obviously, who would be able to chat. Everybody else would only be able to view, which would be a problem. They wouldn't be able to chat. But luckily for us, with being a smaller streamer, not a person of color or anything like that, we're not getting targeted with these raids. I mean, it must be awful, to be fair to people. I mean, at times there's even been charity streams by people who have been targeted, and they're having to deal with that mid-charity stream, go into follower-only mode, then go into even sub mode and stuff like that, and that just spoils the whole thing. Now, from what I can gather, they actually think that one of these people lives, and this is speculation that's been flying around, one of these people lives in Holland, and the other one, I've forgotten where they thought he lived. I can't remember if it was Germany or somewhere else, but one of them they do actually think lives in the Netherlands. Now, if anybody does want to add these people to your block list, because remember, when you have an account, everybody here who is watching this stream, you have an account on Twitch. You also have a channel on Twitch, so you can quite rightly stream on there. Now, if you wanted to ban everybody that's on the ban list and who's naughty, you can go to twitchtools.rootonline.d, and then you can go to the block list manager. You log in via Twitch. So basically, there's a link there to log in, so that basically he has access to, or the tools have access to add things to your ban list. Now you log into there, you add new blocks, then you add bots, and then you wait ages. And I mean wait ages. You are gonna have, if you want to ban everybody, you are gonna have to wait several hours for these to be added, because there is 450,000 accounts that have been banned on that list, that are bot accounts of various degrees. Now, it takes a bloody long time. I haven't been able to put them all on there, but luckily, like I say, we've been able to ban the majority of the Hoss accounts. But I don't know whether this lawsuit coming to fruition has kind of died the whole thing down, but I haven't seen it mentioned as much. So again, I'm not entirely sure whether it's been solved yet. I suspect it hasn't, but maybe this lawsuit, like I say, coming about, has put these two people, you know, into the undergrowth a little bit. Maybe they're shitting themselves, because it could be some clever shit somewhere that's just like in their basement thinking, I can do this shit, and they can't do it, and they get almost like a drug from it, that they can do this. Oh, I can do this, I can do this. Yeah, I can still keep doing it. They can't stop me now, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden, when law enforcement and big money becomes involved, because again, even though there was a decline in viewership on that specific day for the day off Twitch aren't going to be happy, and specifically Amazon aren't going to be happy that they lost quite yeah, I told you, yeah, 456,000. It's some ridiculous amount. That they are not going to be happy with the lost revenue, because you got to remember, it's not just about people paying the subs. Most of those channels play adverts. If you don't run any kind of ad block or anything like that, you boys and girls here, unless you're a subscriber, will see adverts. I don't force them on you. I never play adverts as such. It's just whatever automatically rolls. So, and it can be a bit off-putting, because it can be right in the middle of something that you're watching, something that you're listening to. I mean, I'm not saying I'm that interesting that you will watch it, but everything that I'm doing. Or it could be an interesting... I think there was a long time ago, we were playing... Might have been with you, Tom, as well. We were playing PUBG or something like that, and then something happened, and then somebody said, I missed all that because of the advert. I didn't see what happened, and, you know, that kind of thing. So, yeah. So if you do have an account and you want to ban them, if you don't stream too often, then I wouldn't worry about it. Presumably it's going to be cured sooner rather than later, especially now that they're going after them with lawyers, etc. And they do seemingly know who they are and where they are. It just hasn't been revealed yet. So when you have a break or whatnot, you should run them. Now, the thing is, Charvel, I don't often take a break. Sometimes I do if I'm streaming for like 4 or 5 hours. Then yeah, I need an AFK, this, that, and the other. But I can't. There is a system in place that after X amount of time, certain amount of adverts will play. I can force an advert run by playing them. I used to have one set up, but I tend to just either people running ad blockers or subscribers. You know, so and as well. Are they really, like I say, Tom, I don't know, but this is the thing, because I don't watch too many adverts. I can agree with YouTube. They are getting longer and more annoying and more often, because me and Magic watch quite a few YouTube videos on the TV downstairs. But I don't generally watch too many, and I have ad blockers running, so I don't see any adverts on YouTube when I watch them up here on the computers, etc. So I'm not entirely sure when it's going to be fixed, but if you want to run an ad blocker, I never have a problem with it. Again, I'm not doing this for the money. Trying playing vids between adverts. Yeah, I can imagine it's going to be eventually that the advert is what's going to be there, and then the video is in between the adverts. You know, there's going to be more adverts than what you're going to watch. Again, this is the money. It's all about the money. Yeah. I usually blocker for YouTube, cats down waiting. Yeah, I mean, I suppose the good thing with the YouTube videos that we watch is that an advert will start playing, and there's very, very few that you have to watch the whole advert. There's always like a skip after 5 seconds, and I'm just there ready with the remote to skip, you know, kind of thing. But a lot of the time, if you watch them, you could be there for a few minutes. Yeah, 14 seconds. I mean, some of them are quite funny. That they're like, they're not just adverts, they're actual fucking mini documentaries. There's that one with the guy who's talking about water pumps, the Chinese guy that looks as boring as hell. He looks like a student, and he's talking about this is the water pump X5792 that we've just developed in our laboratories, and then if you look at the time, it's about 13 minutes long, and I'm thinking, I can't sit here watching that. So I just back out of that video and go through. So But yeah, if anybody ever is in the channel, I'd never have a problem. I shouldn't really say that, I suppose, because ad revenue does count towards me as well. But, you know, it doesn't really stack up. At the end of the day, any money that I make is through the subscriptions. But again, I never ask for them either. So anybody that does, thank you for them. Are you... he says you can't. Yeah, we'll have to kick you out of the VIP list. Yeah. Just refresh your page. See if that... Yeah, just try refreshing your page. See if it allows it to come up. It might do. It might not trigger. No. Yeah, okay. Not to worry. Not to worry. We do. Control to clear the cache. Yeah, it's just like I say, it's for Magic's due for a subscription to this channel, but it's not allowing it yet, even though it says like a timer runs out in like 20 minutes or whatever, and then it's kind of run out. But yeah, see, oh no, it's still saying your Prime. Oh yeah, it says your Prime Gaming, but you haven't got your Balrog. Yeah. Yeah. Bit weird. Right, before I dive off, because I have been talking for 2.5 hours, and this is why I only went through 7 things or whatever it was. Do you know, I can't believe I've missed that little bullet point off my list. How annoying. It's been there all night. It's been sat there all night. But the daft thing is, when I actually refresh it, it's there. As a schmucker. But yeah, now I know, Tom, obviously you're interested in this, and I know a few others that are interested in it. I can't show you it specifically, but some of you have seen it. But I was very lucky to get hold of something yesterday that I've been after a while, and I'm not on about magic here. Some of you know that I've been after one of these for quite a while. Oh, do you know, I've just noticed the NVIDIA logo is green and it's gone see-through. You can see the stars. You can see the stars. Yeah, I've got the Founders Edition of the RTX 3080 Ti. I didn't pay scalper prices. I managed to get it at retail. But I'm going to be selling off my 2080 Ti to pay for that. Magic's got the thingy. And yes, I'm interested in the benches for that. Now, I have been doing benches since last night because even I was... interested in that because I wanted to test it. When I did the 3070 test, which I did in the first episode ever of GeekCast, I benchmarked Magic's 3070, which was going to be my 3070, against my 2080 Ti, and they were very, very close. The 3070 was actually just behind. I'm talking about maybe 2-3% behind the 2080 Ti. So I kept it. I gave Magic the a little bit on their 3070. She got a nice little present. Well, I hope your bits don't vibrate off. Indeed, indeed. So I have been benchmarking. I only just finished the benchmarks for everything just before I went live. I was like about 10 to 7. I was finishing the last benchmark because I'd done them last night. I'd done some more today. And I had an issue with one of the benchmarks because a couple of games, discounts for mods, with a couple of the games, they were flickering black screen. And I thought, uh-oh, what's going on here? And all it was, so that's why you were late. Yeah, but it's Charvel. Yeah, I love that. Charvel's the perfect person to say, so that's why you were late. I think he's heard that all his life. But yes, don't say that. People will fucking hell. People will be saying, "Whoa, hey, they're giving it away." I am not giving away my 2080 Ti. Jesus, fucking hell, Jesus, kidding. Yeah, but people, you know, you do realize people will be just literally screenshotting or putting a clip of that up on the internet. Yeah, oh, it's no good deleting it now. Once it's on the internet. Yeah, I'm not selling my 2080 sorry, I'm selling my 2080. I'm not giving it away. What I will be giving away though is a copy of New World, Amazon New World, when it launches on hopefully the 28th of September. So if you want to be in it to win it, you've got to be a follower, you've got to be in the stream, and you've got to be a subscriber, because it is going to be a subscriber only contest. Now, a lot of my people who are subscribers will be playing New World. If you don't, then you can have a chance of winning it and playing it if you want for free. Also, if you do already own it, you'll be able to give the copy away, because I'm going to get a version from Steam, and then I'm going to gift it to whoever necessary. So that's going to be the end of this month. So in about 2 weeks' time, hopefully, if the launch isn't delayed. But yeah, sorry, it's about the giveaway. Just to go back to this thing, 3080 Ti. I've done the benchmarks. I'm going to bring them up next week because I want to do some more testing. I want to tweak the card a little bit more because I want to undervolt it and then overclock it as well to get it running cool. Now, by the way, off topic, if you like Age of Empires, you can request access to Age of Empires 4 on Steam, like with New World, for this week's testing. Oh yeah, a lot of companies are doing that now. You have to request access. It just isn't automatically given. And I think what it is, it's a bit of market research as well, that people, if they're following a certain a thing, they can then look and say, oh yeah, they're following. Oh, I'll press that button to get access. If people don't know about it, they don't know to click it. So yeah, cool. That's good information. So yeah, I'm going to be doing more benchmarks with once I've done some more tweaking of the undervolting. A lot of people might just go over your head. But yeah, trying to get the card to run cooler at the same settings by not putting as much voltage through it, and then overclocking it to get the same, more performance at the similar temperatures. So we're going to see, and then I'll benchmark. But yeah, I was having issue. Sorry to go back. I was having an issue with a couple of games that I used for benchmarks. The screen was flashing black. It was like somebody was blinking on the screen. And I was like, you only did it with these 2 games, and I couldn't understand why. Anyway, with a little bit of jiggery-pokery, it was because my display cable was not in the first slot. And for whatever reason, it didn't like it. As soon as I swapped them around, it's worked perfectly. So I've done the benchmarks on them. Some people will have seen the tech channel. So let's just say it beats the 3070 and it beats the 2080 Ti, but I'm not going to say anything else. Next week, I will have graphs. Oof, stonking graphs for you to show off the actual results. Oh, so if you're interested in that, next week's GeekCast will have such information that you will sploosh. Absolutely sploosh. He'll be like Steve. Yeah, he's not called Steve Nexus, but he's Steve from Nexus Games. Yeah. Yeah, I bet in 26%. It's 26% faster than my 3070 Ti. I actually can't say because I don't actually know, Charbel, because I can't test the 3070 Ti. But I did try the 3070 Master Edition from Gigabyte, which is what Magic's got in her system. So I have compared it with that. I've got the 980 Ti as well, which is my old card, which I do have the benchmarks for still, but not everything was on the same level with that. 4080 is out soon. Yes, there's rumors of that. However, if they release the 4080, I would be very surprised if there's much uplift in performance, but I would expect the same situation where a price increase and not much availability, because they've said that the availability of silicone is not really going to improve until mid to end of next year. And the manufacturers such as TMSC, who make the actual silicone and the chips, are going to put their prices up. They've said themselves, we're having to put the prices up because they know that they can make a killing at the moment. So when the silicone manufacturers are going to put the prices up, when the raw materials are going to go up in price, you can guarantee that the prices are not going to come down. So it doesn't matter how many versions of graphics cards they bring out. If the availability isn't there because they can't afford it, you can bet Nvidia are bumping these prices up. So they might bring out the cards, but they will sell very few apart from scalpers and people who are willing to pay in body organs, because that's the only way you're going to be able to afford them. But yeah, I'm having to offset mine, sell my old stuff, to pay for it, but it was an opportunity because I do like the look of the card and it does look very nice in the case as well. The only thing I will say about it is that 12-pin connector is so in the wrong place. It's so in the wrong place because even though you get the connector to connect to your PSU, you can never get it looking right, even with custom cables as well. So It's okay, but it's not in the best place. But we shall see. We shall see anyway. But they're going to come next week. So yeah, be on the lookout. 3080 Ti benchmarks against 3070s and 2080 Ti's. So look forward to it, because I've enjoyed testing it. Ooh, yes. Right, I'm going to play you out with our normal gameplay out. Everybody will know this game, I think, by now. If you don't, you'll know its predecessors. Still won't let me sub. Well, you can do it tomorrow. We're fine. So I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for joining as always. Thanks for getting involved. This is what makes this such fun to do, as well as the name the game and name the movie. It's always good to have you with us. And thank you very much, Keepy, for subscription. Original, thank you for your subscription. And Monkey, thank you very much as always. And everybody else for joining us. We'll see you again in the next one. Guess the game, which is still shy. Well, to be fair, Guess the Picture is not the name. So it's Guess the Game and Guess the Movie. So if you're playing Guess the Picture, that's where you're playing wrong. Yeah, Mark, just have a look at it. Damn foiled indeed. Just have a look on the VOD. It'll be there ready for you shortly if you want to watch it. But leaders, indeed. Take care, folks. Be good. And we'll see you again soon. TTFN for now. Bye-bye. Done it again.
Time is running out. The prophecies say Fimbulwinter leads to Ragnarok. War is coming. My story doesn't end hiding in these woods. I should be out there, finding out who I am, who Loki is.
I will not allow you to pick a fight with gods.
I don't want to fight anyone. I just want answers.
And if those answers lead to war with Asgard,
Maybe that's what Mother wanted.
we do not know what Mother wanted.
Well, I recognize that dour expression anywhere. Odin's got tricks up his sleeve we haven't dared to consider.